Alert. There is a monster in the city.
Shoot, I've got to help those people. I gotta find my morpher. What is it? Dane, have you seen my morpher? Cole, have you seen my morpher? What the is wrong with everyone in this house? What the? Who stuck my morpher in the fridge? Whatever. Lightspeed Rescue! Oh my god. You think this is funny? Huh? You think this is f***ing funny? Do you want to be the one in the stripper outfit for the bit? I don't get paid enough for this shit, man. F*** me. Welcome to Rewind, the show where we explore late 90s and early 2000s pop culture that has impacted me and many others. And on today's episode, we're talking about Power Rangers. Power Rangers is an American adaptation of the Japanese series called Super Sentai, which started back in 1975. Prior to working on this video, I didn't even know that. Also, Power Rangers apparently uses footage from Super Sentai in their episodes. Power Rangers first aired back in August of 1993, which sparked the Fox Kids block and the franchise as a whole, with over 20 different themed television series and 3 theatrical films. And by 2001, the media franchise had generated over $6 billion in toy sales. Needless to say, the Power Rangers franchise is very popular, even to this day, with one of its films recently released in 2017. Of all the different Power Rangers shows out there, there was one tape to rule them all. In 2001, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue was born, which is also an adaptation of the Super Sentai called Go-Go 5. The full title is Kiyu Sentai Go-Go 5. Here, Thane, can you help me?
Kiyu Sentai Go-Go 5.
Thanks, Thane. I had 2 VHS tapes of Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, which was a total of 7 episodes out of 40 that was in the series. Since Power Rangers had such an impact on child me, I thought it'd be a good idea to take a stroll down memory lane to see if Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue is worthy of an ultimate smash or a shameful pass. Let's morph into this one. So like what I did there? No? I'm just gonna hit play now. Dang, this opening theme is banging. My favorite part of this intro as a kid is probably still my favorite part now, which is definitely the guitars. So our story starts out with these 3 dudes walking through a desert with our camel friend, when one guy's like, dang, I'm thirsty, and he opens up his bottle to get a drink and leans on a pillar, which, I mean, seems okay, and then a secret passage opens up. What a f***ing dick! Who in their right mind just walks up to a mummified skeleton over a tomb and just like f*** off and shoves it over? Anyway, the tomb opens up and monsters are released into the world. Just so you know, the CG in this show is pretty epic. Okay, hold on, pause. Really? All of this? You're gonna try and blame all of this garbage on the demons? That's just disgusting, people. Gotta clean your shit up. This is Captain Mitchell. He's pretty much the Nick Fury of the show who summons all the Rangers together. He sends out these 2 agents to go gather or kidnap all the Rangers just to bring them to him. This is Joel. He's the Green Ranger. This is Kelsey, the Yellow Ranger, who is an extreme sports person. These 2 dudes are just everywhere. She climbed this rock. Like, how the hell did they get up there? Also, their timing is horrible.
Skycats, we need you to come with us.
Guys, I'm taking a shit. Get the f*** out. This is Chad, the Blue Ranger. He works at SeaWorld. And this is Carter, the Red Ranger, and arguably the best actor in the show, for being honest. And these are our bad guys. This is Vipra, who is probably the worst actor of the show, Loki, he's the dumb one, and Diabolico, who is the main henchman of the Queen Banshira, and then finally her son Impus. This is the base where all the magic happens, called the Aqua Base. And honestly, it's pretty cool. Like, a secret underwater base, that's pretty nice. Then there is Dana the Pink Ranger, also the sexy one of the group. So with all the Power Rangers summoned together, they go out on their first mission to go fight monsters. And one thing I will say right off the bat is Power Rangers explosion game is on par. I mean, look at these explosions. Are they not cool? And they did it! Our friends blew up the monster. That takes us into the next episode. This is the love story of the show. My boy smashes into Miss Fairweather and falls in love. Turns out, the actress in real life competed in beauty pageants. Yeah, she's hot. She's also the one who invents all the gadgets and weapons that the Power Rangers use. A cool thing that they do in the show is they use miniature models for scenes, from the trains to the city to the rail rescues. I mean, it doesn't look the greatest, but I've always liked the use of miniature models. Wait, hold on, look at this. This is just walking legs, taking a piss. Anyway, our Rangers save the day by morphing into Megazord mode, it's pretty cool, I guess. They turn into a Transformer pretty much, and then they fight the giant monsters. But it's definitely just a guy in a suit, though. Then here at the end of the episode, my boy pretty much gets cucked once again.
Computer geek will just let it.
The next episode starts us out on the training grounds. This is where we find out just how cryptic the captain is. Everybody goes through their trainings and does it in a fairly decent time, but then Carter is all by himself going through with a paintball gun shooting all these different cardboard cutouts of monsters. Well, apparently Carter did something wrong, but the captain doesn't even tell him what he did wrong, and then he roasts him in front of everybody.
You may have had the fastest time, but you got the lowest score.
The lowest? I don't understand.
You have to take time to use this before you ever use a blaster.
But sir, I hit every target.
Which means nothing. You didn't think the situation through. Sometimes the obvious choice is the wrong choice.
Later, Carter and the boys have a run-in with Vipra. Like I said last time, she's probably the worst actress in the show. Very dry lines, and it's almost uncomfortable at times.
You haven't seen the last of me or my Vipari. Isn't it beautiful? Next target. This is the moment I've been waiting for.
Once again, Carter's put in a situation where there's rocks that could fall on this kid, but there's a fire, and Captain tells him to put the fire out first, and Carter's like, no, I need to save the kid, but Captain's like, no, put the fire out, because there's gas there, but Carter can't see the gas, so why can't Captain just tell Carter that there's gas and it could explode, so put the fire out, instead of argue with each other? Carter gets really pissed, and he goes into the captain's office, and he says, you were wrong, f*** you, and then he goes to the hospital where the little boy is. While he's at the hospital, Carter tells his story to the little boy, who's conveniently passed out and probably won't remember anything of why he became a firefighter. When he was little, Carter was saved by a firefighter, and that's why he became one. Like I said, I only had 2 tapes of the Power Rangers, which had 3 episodes on one and then 4 on the other, so this was the end of the first tape I had. The other one takes place much later, which in my opinion is probably the best arc of the show, but pretty much every episode follows suit after this one, usually following one of the Rangers, making the episode about one of them, and some life lessons that they learn. Then they fight a monster, beat it, and then Jinx or Kobe's a get big card into their dead body, and the Rangers have to fight it again, but in their Megazord form. The captain continues to not tell the Power Rangers why he wants them to do certain things. My boy still gets cucked over by the scientist lady.
Then you go out with me.
Absolutely not.
The Power Rangers continued to get new items, from speed bikes to new Megazords. You know, I never saw any of this as a kid, so it was pretty cool to go back and fill in the holes. Next, we get introduced to the fact that the captain had a son, and this is where a huge plot hole gets introduced. Also, look at this scene. Damn. So, after whatever the hell that was, Captain is hanging on by a branch sticking out of the rocks holding Dana while Ryan is dangling from his shoe when Diabolico shows up. But how? This is the plot hole. Like, Diabolico was sealed away. Big D says, I'll save your son, but I gotta keep him. And Cap says no, but then Ryan falls and Cap's like, please save my beautiful baby boy. Then Mr. D does and keeps his son all these years. Yep. That's a what the f*** moment if I've ever seen one. So apparently Diabolico has been brainwashing Ryan for all these years, so he snuck into the Aqua Base and stole the Titanium Morpher. Then he became the Titanium Ranger and beat up our Power Ranger friends. But then he became good in the end.
Bye, Ryan.
I gotcha!
But then it takes us into the last tape I had, which, like I said, is probably the best arc in the show. This was the first time I saw Ryan, aka the Titanium Ranger, but I didn't know he was the Titanium Ranger. Ryan goes back to the Aqua Base, says, bye Dad, and then goes on a spiritual journey to find out who he is, while Big D summons his 3 most powerful monsters. One of my favorite parts about Power Rangers is the monster suits. Some of them look really, really cool. These 3 monsters beat up our ranger friends and spread these feathers all throughout the city, which apparently they blow up when it gets dark. So Ryan, trying to be a nice guy, gives a little boy one of these bomb feathers, who gives it to his sister. And then he heads to a bus stop to leave the city. After watching all the previous episodes up to this one, this is the first time it feels like the Rangers are up against a real threat. While they're getting the shit kicked out of them, Ryan finds out the feathers are bombs and finds that little girl and takes the feather and throws it just before it blows up. Then he realizes he wants to help people and becomes the Titanium Ranger again. He shows up to help the other Rangers, and damn, he is so much better than all the others. He was definitely my favorite Ranger, plus his suit is really cool. After defeating Big D's monsters, Ryan goes to sleep and has a pretty gnarly dream, where he gets a sick cobra tattoo from Diabolico. Every time he morphs, it crawls up his back until it gets up to his neck and eats him. But I mean still, like, come on, a cobra tattoo? That's sweet. So in this episode, the Rangers fight the same 3 monsters again, but Demonite clones himself, and the clone starts to fight Ryan. But the cobra tat is doing a lot of damage because Ryan morphed, so he can't really fight back. Red sneaks up on the real Demonite and holds 2 guns to him point blank. Everyone's like, do it, you b***y! And Red is like, no, this isn't the right way. But then he does it anyway, blowing himself up and killing Demonite. And Demonite's clone. But then the show's like, nope, he can't die, he's God, so... I mean, he should have died. Look at this explosion. Then with Demonite gone, our squad heads back home. Carter peeps on our boy Ryan and sees a sick tat and is like, Ryan, tell your dad. And Ryan's like, no, tell my dad. But then Dad starts to peep and is like, I'll tell Dad, you're grounded. The Rangers continue to fight the same monsters from 2 episodes ago, and maybe that is why this arc felt different, is because they don't kill these monsters as fast. They actually put up a fight. The 2 remaining monsters grow big, and 1 Megazord can't do it alone. So Ryan says, fuck you, Dad, and morphs so he can control the new Solar Zord, which is freaking cool. Plus, I mean, he can do tricks like this. They kill the 2 monsters, but Ryan is passed out, white girl drunk, and has to go to the hospital. And that takes us into the final episode of the arc, which is probably my favorite. Big D comes back one last time with all 3 of his monsters combined into one, and this threesome is tough. To aid the Rangers, Miss Fairweather makes a new gadget called Battle Boosters, which enhance physical strength, and so Carter starts just destroying everybody. While the colors of the rainbow are fighting, Cobra Tat Boy goes on an adventure to find and fight the Cobra. Turns out, the tattoo has a brother. Then Diabolico slides in and starts fighting the Rangers himself, which is a pretty epic battle, blowing a hole through the Super Train Megazord. Ryan ends up killing the Cobra, removing the tattoo, and then comes to help the gang, and they kill Diabolico. As soon as he dies, Empus gets that star power and turns into a cocoon. And this is the cliffhanger right here that I sat on for 19 years. I never knew what happened after this. And honestly, I'm not sure why I never asked my mom to get me more episodes. I guess I just didn't care that much. The rest of the show, though, is about the same. Impus becomes a new leader, which his monster suit's really cool, by the way. Summoning monsters, trying to destroy the Power Rangers. Ryan leaves for pretty much the rest of the series, trying to figure out how to destroy Queen Banshira. My boy still gets cucked by Miss Fairweather. Turns out the firefighter that saved Carter's life was actually the captain, and the Rangers get new Megazords and weapons to help them out the rest of the way. Honestly, the ending really isn't all that great. The acting is okay, most of the special effects are pretty bad, and the story is alright, but the monster suits are pretty cool and the explosions are awesome. Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue isn't the greatest TV show, but as a kid, I can see why I was such a fan. It's really cool seeing people wearing suits going around blowing shit up and saving the world. Would I recommend this show to watch? I mean, I enjoyed watching it all the way through. It's pretty entertaining at times, whether you are laughing because of how dry some of the actors are or how terrible the effects are. And like I said before, the explosions and fight scenes are actually pretty cool. So, I mean, yeah, I'd say give it a shot. There is one scene, though, that I laughed my butt off, and I wanted to show you guys. Grandma on a forklift, front flip, vagina to the mouth. Yep. Well, that's pretty much it. If you guys want to go watch the show, it's over on Netflix. I mean, it was pretty fun for me to go back and watch this show all these years later. I guess I'm still a fan because it was quite enjoyable. But anyway, thanks for Wait a second. There's something else. I remember.
What is it?
A Power Ranger.
Is that cool? You like Power Rangers, huh?
And how do I play it?
You'll have to have Dad help you.
Oh, that's right. They made a video game about this show. I mean, I had it on the N64, but it was for other platforms as well. But I don't remember anything about this game other than I had it. So, I mean, I guess we'll see what kind of train wreck this will be.
Hey, Ranger, you can clean up the mess by pressing the A button.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't remember this game. Because it f***ing sucks. This game honestly looks like it was made in 3 days. The story cutscenes in between missions are supposed to be comic book-like, but they look horrible. MS Paint really came in clutch on this one. The gameplay is hot trash. You press 2 buttons, unless you count the joystick, then 3. B button shoots in front of you, A button shoots behind you. That is it. The enemies you fight are batlings, like from the show, but then you also fight Barry B from B-Movie? Jerry, is that you? Yeah, I don't know where the bees come from. Oh look, there's a ghost. And the guy that hops. Sometimes you will get swarmed by a bunch of enemies, and the best way to kill them is just to walk into them. There are only 4 different types of missions you do. Collect missions, where you run around saving civilians and collecting things. These types of missions are pretty boring, although it is pretty fun listening to the civilians yell when you save them.
Somebody help me! Yeah!
Then there are flying missions where you play as the Green Ranger. You fly around the city, which is pitch black and hard to see, collecting boxes and saving people. Then you can play Megazord missions, which are like boss battles. They're pretty easy. All you do is shoot missiles at them and then get close to them and punch the shit out of them. The last type of missions you play are absolutely the worst. It's these side-scrolling driving missions. Sometimes you have to shoot cars that are on fire, or running over oil spills, or saving civilians. But it is hard as hell though, because there are other cars driving on the road that you also have to avoid. Oops, sorry, just killed a whole family trying to save one person. At certain points it will speed up and an enemy flies over you and drops bombs, but you can't shoot them because they're up too high. Also, at the end of every mission you beat, a bunch of people yell, "Yay!" in the most unenthusiastic way possible. Yay! Okay, guys, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah! Oh, f***!
Thing, what's wrong?
Somebody zip me in the dick!
You know what? We'll fix it in post. Guys, that's lunch. That's a wrap. To top it all off, and I shit you not, this game took me less than an hour to beat. The whole thing, start to finish. The only redeeming quality this game has is the intro plays during the select screen. Also, it turns out this game is on the PS1 and is completely different. The PS1 version is a beat-em-up style game, while this one is a clusterfuck style game. I've never played the PlayStation version, but it looks way better than this Speed Rescue. Yeah, don't buy this game. Thanks for watching this episode of Rewind. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more, check out these other episodes of Rewind. Subscribe, and remember to be kind and rewind.